Welcome to the PharmaSource podcast, recorded on stage at CDMO Live Europe 2026 in Rotterdam. This episode is sponsored by PharmaBlock, a fully integrated CRDMO providing research, development and manufacturing services from early discovery to commercial production.
Our next guest has been on both sides of the CDMO relationship, first as a client, then as the person running the facility. So thank you, Dr. Adriana Kiedzierska-Mencfeld, for joining us. So you spent nearly 11 years at Polpharma Biologics, leading operations, building facilities and large technical teams, before then becoming CEO of Rezon Bio. She also holds a PhD in molecular biology and is currently completing an executive MBA at IMD Lausanne. So over the next 20 minutes, we're going to be talking about how Rezon Bio came to exist, what it's like to build a CDMO from the inside out, and what Adriana actually thinks a good partnership looks like. So yeah, Rezon Bio is a relatively new name, isn't it, Adriana? The organisation obviously behind it has a much longer track record. Can you walk us through that journey and the foundations you're starting to build with that?
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much for invitation and for possibility today to talk about how Rezon Bio came to exist and why we believe that we can be differentiator on the market. So first of all, Rezon Bio is the not new company. So we rebranded our company in October last year from the Polpharma Biologics. So our heritage is the development and manufacturing, also for commercial, of the biosimilars monoclonal antibodies. So we built the biotech ecosystem in Poland with the track record for the development and commercial, implementing the product, launching the product on the global market, including US, having the infrastructure which is in 2 sites in Poland, and both sites are having infrastructure which was audited by the FDA, EMA, MHRA, and product manufactured from that sites are EMA, MHRA, and FDA approved. So we are not starting our journey as a manufacturer, not starting the journey as a developer. We are simply offering the service what we built over the year for external customer. And the reason why we are doing this, we will talk a bit later about this, but definitely this what we can offer on the top of infrastructure, which of course is the prerequisite for the CDMO, is the expertise and track record, but track record not on the any product, but on our own product. So we build facility, we build the system, we build the partnership with the big pharma for our own product. And that's the difference in comparison to majority of other CDMO.
Yeah, so obviously you made this decision to separate your CDMO operations from your development activities. But tell me, what does that mean for your clients?
So this means a lot. Because we are not just giving the access to the really state-of-the-art modern facilities, which is certified by many authorities, but we are giving the access to the expertise, to the technology, to the expertise what we built over the years. But what makes the really important with this transfer to the purely CDMO is that we are giving the access to our client, to the organization which is focused on the results, which built this culture over the years, learning on the own product, so we'll not learn on other product, and having the very lean governance and having the very good agility for the growing together with the client. So with the client demand, we have the ability to very quickly increase our capacity.
Interesting. And so before running a CDMO, obviously you were a client of CDMOs. Tell me about that. What did that experience teach you about what works and maybe what doesn't work?
So in the moment when we were starting to work with the CDMO, we were a very small organization. We were around 40 people, having just 2 labs, setting up the pilot plant. And we were not having any track record. So we were part of the generic pharmaceutical company as a one-off division, having one product in development. So we were not at all priority for any CDMO, I have to say. So on the moment when we were negotiating contract, we didn't have the much power. So we had to take what is given. We didn't have the power to renegotiate and discuss the slots. But the worst what we experienced, and please remember we were in the biosimilars market where the timing is super critical. We were in the situation that the mistake done by CDMO, where we lost the batches or the development timeline was delayed, we had to wait for the new slot quite a while. Such while that the contract what we had signed with the, for example, DP CDMO, we were losing another slot, paying the fee for another slot, and then we were impacted with the fine which was given by the CRO. So it was the chain of the consequences on the moment when we were not generating any revenue and investment were really significant. So this was very painful, but we experienced this also with the supplier of the materials. When we were ordering something and suddenly we were getting information that they are running out of stock and the materials are going to the bigger pharma. So the moment when we experienced this and we knew that for us is to be or not to be, luckily we are a privately owned company with the really great possibility for investment. So our owner decided to invest in their infrastructure and building the capabilities. So we started building our capabilities, and we said, so let's try parallel to build to develop the process, to manufacture batches for clinical trials, and in the moment and parallel with the CDMO. If we will be able to do it faster, building the capabilities and delivering the product which meets the requirement, so then is the moment when we decide to stop with the external CDMO and continue internally. And believe me or not, but this happens. So the team was extremely motivated. The time what we were spending to fight about the slots, to fight about the attention, to solve our issues was enormous. So we really built this by ourselves. And we delivered. So then the same was with the commercial batches and so on. So that was the way how we decided to overcome this. And now we are offering this to the client, knowing how it is to be in the shoes of being client, under prioritized and losing the attention with the product which is for you the only one and is to be or not to be for you.
That's really interesting. So tell me how that experience has then shaped the way that you lead Rezon Bio.
So first of all, for us, there's nothing what is impossible. So if someone is telling us, and this is very well known in our company, that something is impossible, this motivates us more. So we learn on our product. We are very easy implementing the lessons learned, and we very much value partnership. We know how much faster and cheaper as well we can develop and manufacture if we are really partner with in the past with our partner who was distributing the product, but now with the client. So the solution orientation, the quality focus, and the compliance and regulatory focus, this is something what is embedded in our culture. But on the top of that, we do this with the big passion. Passion, integrity, and huge diversity. We have very international team. We have 25 nationalities in the companies across the different departments, across the different industry, and experience is such broad from CDMO, small biotech, startup, but as well the big pharma, that we are complementing each other and implementing this, what works the best for our client.
Oh, nice. That's great to hear. So As you mentioned, you recently received FDA approval for your Warsaw Daschny site. What does that change for you practically?
So this was our third approval on that time. So we got it in January for our commercial facility in Duchnice, close to Warsaw. But that was not the first one. So we got already two other FDA approval for our product, one in mammalian, another in microbial facility in Gdańsk. And this was another confirmation of our robustness, quality system, and inspection readiness as well. But as well the exam for the new team who was hired in our Warsaw site and developed, trained, and knowledge transfer from our Gdańsk site. So for us, this was the exam, much bigger scale and much bigger expectation. This was the more difficult because we had to implement this what was observation from the previous inspection and show that it's much better and we are improving, we are learning. And from the virtual inspection we got no response, no observation letter, so which was really the huge success. Again, not only the Rezon Bio team, but as well the great collaboration with our partner on that product with Sandoz team.
Now let's move on. Let's talk about the biosimilars market. It's unpredictable. Litigation, price erosion, timing that can, often maybe not go to plan. What realities, in your view, have been maybe the most underestimated by companies just entering the space?
So from one point of view, biosimilars market, we can say that it's unpredictable, but from other perspective, we can say very easy predictable. It's going much, much more in the generic direction, and the cost pressure, price erosion is obvious. This is not the question is not if this will happen. The question how quickly this will happen. And more competitor will appear, of course the price will go down, but also originator are fighting and are able to lower the price to the extent which a few years ago was not expected. So of course this is good for the patient, but it's more difficult for the developer and manufacturer, and very difficult for the CDMO, because of course our client expect to have the lowest possible cost and to develop as quickly as possible. So the CDMO needs to adjust, but still making the money, because this is not the charity business. So we need to run faster, and we need to predict much faster what can happen on the market. And in case of the Europe was usually, for many years, was treated as a premium from the price perspective. That's not anymore the true, because the Central and Eastern Europe can offer much meter prices with the possibility to keep the very high quality standards and meeting regulatory expectation. And Rezon Bio is such example. It's not the one product, it's the several products, 2 lines in Gdańsk, another line in Duchnice in Warsaw. So the pressure on the cost, on the price, will not decrease. This will only increase. And the company CDMO who will be able to meet this and still be profitable will stay on the market. And of course, this goes with many improvement and looking on the innovation, on the technologies, but as well being lean not only in the execution, but as well decision making and being transparent. From Europe, from the IP perspective, from the regulatory perspective, is very safe place, and this is very important for the biosimilars. And this what we see that the client usually underestimate the first of all complexity of developing the biosimilars, but what is even more important, too late thinking about the cost. And what will be the situation when they will start simply launching and selling the product. The approval doesn't mean the launch. And from country to country, the situation is changing. New new forms of the product appearing, subcuts appearing for the product which was not existing before, and they need to look on that. But this what stays stable. Stable is that the cost needs to be taken in the consideration already on the process development early stages. If you do the not focus on that stage, then you pay the consequence in commercial. And having the product on the market, not being able to continue supplying. So this is the biggest risk, which is very, very much underestimated. Thinking what kind of scale you need to be on the right COGS is definitely too late after PPQ campaign.
Let's move on and talk a little bit about partnerships. Everyone's talking about how the CDMO sponsor relationship is evolving. Sponsors are increasingly expecting transparency, being data-driven. So from your experience, what do clients actually value in practice?
So definitely the client value the transparency. And this transparency, of course, on the data, but transparency also on the situation, transparency on the timelines, transparency on the cost. So overall, whatever you do. But not the transparency in that way that I give you the access to data, you see the raw data, and you can tell me what I should do. Because client is not coming to the CDMO only because they need the infrastructure. Usually they need also expertise, capabilities, and they expect that they will get the access to the data, but to the right data, to the information, what is meaningful with the interpretation and at least the direction and several options with the recommendation from CDMO. So this is super important. And the transparency in the decision or quick information that something is going wrong, which is happening in the product. And if we are developing the product for 5, 7, or 10 years, many things will happen. And very important is to really work together with the client as a partner, together solve the issue, but being really the risk mitigator and helping to solve the issue and taking some risk as well. The CDMO who is the partner is not the CDMO who is saying yes for everything. It's the CDMO who, in difficult situation, is able to say no to also protect the client, to not to enter in the compliance risk or the withdrawal of the dossier, which then has the consequences for the reputation, for the timelines, for the product. So our goal when we are having the client is that client has the product commercially available on the market. And this is our view on the partnership.
Let's talk about your geographic footprint for a minute. I've been hearing like Eastern Europe is a growing hub for talent in the life sciences, actually. So when clients are evaluating global manufacturing operations, so how do you see Europe and specifically your region positioned in the decision-making process? You mentioned this earlier, but tell me more about that.
So as I mentioned before, Europe was for many years treated as and perceived as a premium price for the services. So yes, that was the case for many years. But with the company like we are showing the track record, not with the only not only saying that we have a proof product, but having the product commercially available on the market with the big pharma partner, being qualified by the big pharma, this is proving that there is a good standard quality and regulatory, there are capabilities, there are modern facilities, but with the competitive price. And with the current geopolitical situation, with the old tariffs, with the many challenges with the supplying the product, raw materials, Eastern and Central Europe is the response for that. And European Union is seeing this need that we need to move our supply chain more to the Europe. The Critical Medicine Act is clearly supporting the transfer of the product to the Europe. And if we look on the companies who are in Asia and when they went to Asia due to the price, due to the speed, So, and they now should come back to be able to supply the product in Europe. They need to find a place where they don't lose on the quality, but that they have the competitive price. So we are definitely the response for that, with the understanding of the market and with the possibility to supply for both Europe and US and any other market, but as well for the Asian market where is a need.
Eastern Europe is the place to be. Finally, as we close up then, if a biotech company is selecting a CDMO partner today, just tell me, what do you think they should be looking for just beyond technical capability?
So definitely for the real partnership. So the company who will mitigate the risk will own the risk, and we will be the guardian for company to protect the client to do the mistake. Of course, there is never possible to mitigate to zero, but we want to mitigate to the extent which is possible. But as well to have the partner who thinks about the cost. So the cost consciousness is one of our company value. And this is how we are doing the things, how we are thinking, how we are planning. And this is what we strongly believe and hear that the client needs. Speed and cost are super important, but of course everyone wants to work with the partner where is the good understanding, where is the passion, and this is the pleasure and joy to work. And that's definitely what is needed with such long programs.
Great. Adriana, thank you so much. Really, really interesting to hear your perspective and Rezon Bio's journey.